feel free to share or add an emoji. You're very, very welcome. There's Abby's forward to the session. Brilliant, Abby. There's somebody with their sunglasses. Great. Hello, Jilly. How are you? We are super, super excited. And Olivia, that's absolutely fine. Olivia is a little bit tired, but she's still very motivated. That's great. Lovely. Well, I think without further ado, I am going to hand over to the expert, Susan, who is going to share with us with a twist, I have been told. So I'm excited to look out for this twist. And please feel free throughout the session. Myself and Angie will be manning the chat box. Any questions or queries you have, we will undoubtedly try our utmost to get these answered through our expert and ourselves as well. And don't ever think there is a silly question, because really there isn't. We would like to see as much chat and interaction as we go out throughout this session. So it's now over to yourself, Susan. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for that lovely introduction there, Donna. And it's lovely to be here. I have to say, it's lovely to be here. This is my third session as part of Future Skills Week, but I have been part of the team behind the week in a couple of different guises over the past couple of months at this stage. And I have to say, the amount of effort that has happened really, really quickly in order to make this a reality is truly wonderful. It's really wonderful. And the team who have been part, or the team who have built this week for you, I have to say they're amazing. So it's really lovely to be here, as I say, with you, and really glad that you've taken time out of your day to spend it with me. Now, what I do want to tell you though is that we're going to have it's going to be very little about me today, and it's going to be far more about you. While we were getting ready there to get started, I just heard from one of you. I won't mention your name, but you know who you are. I was just listening there to one of you were talking to Donna just about that sense of being in an interview, and that question of there's 3 perfectly or equally suitable candidates for this job. Why should we pick you? Type of question. That's what we really want to deal with today. Or I get this all the time, of course, being in business, is why should we pick your company? Why should we pick your this? Why should we pick your that? That is really what we want to handle and what we want to be able to deal with. A, fast, B, with confidence, and C, in a way that's very, very different and self-aware, right? So that's what we're going to do. So to take you through the outcome of what I'm going to talk to you about, and what I'm going to do here is I am going to share my screen, and then I'm going to be sharing the screen for quite a fair bit of this, because you are our center stage. Now, can I just check, Donna, can you see what's your USP? Can you see the slide there that says what's your USP? And I see Angie's nodding, so yep. I'll take
yes,
it.
I can see that. Okay, yep, I can see it. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. Thank you. So this is going to be the agenda for what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to, the twist here is that number 1 is going to be very active but interactive, but number 2 is that we really want to take this from your personal point of view, and where I'm going to go through them, because I'm looking at the numbers who are here, and you know what, there's a lovely group here where I'll be able to respond to everything, but fast. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to really make sure we get the most out of this session, but take this as a kind of an individual coaching session, but from the point of view whereby you are all the answers that are coming in are going to be anonymous. So don't worry about what you're don't worry about, oh, how is this going to come across. What we're going to do is that we're just going to make sure that we get as much value out of this as possible. Okay, so what is your USP? In each case, I'm going to go around this agenda here, and I'm going to tell you what mine is, and then we're going to hand it over to you. So I'm going to use Mentimeter in order to do that, but let's take it from the top. So one of the best things to do in an interview, when I say an interview, I mean for a job, for a promotion, or with a client if you're in business like me. So one of the key things that's really helpful to do is give third-party validation for something that you've done. And one way of doing that, for example, might be an award. Now, my award, if you're going to ask me about this, and I'm going to tell you, we deliver financial training, and we have done right around the world for the past 10 years. But how can I tell you that we are very good at what we do? Well, one of the ways I can say that is because I am a CFA charter holder. I'm a CFA charter holder as a chartered financial analyst. Another thing that I might say is we have 10 years, well, we've 11 in September, we've 11 years of experience. Or I can say to you, we have worked with 100 different companies across 5 different countries, and in that we have met with 10,000 people. So they don't have to be an award in the typical sense. It can be something like experience, it can be a third-party testimonial, it can be something like the number of people that you've worked with, it can be a grade, and so on. So now what I'm going to do is, for each one of these, I'm going to ask you what you would say, as I say, hence the twist, and let's see how we can give you some individualized responses on that. So what I'm just going to do here now is I just want to get the link for you. I'm going to share this, I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to pop it there into the chat. Thanks, John. Delighted to hear that you enjoyed the session yesterday, and lots more to come today. Okay, so here we go now. So can you please click on that link, and now tell me about an award that you've won, or that you've earned. Like, we haven't won an award of being nearly 11 years in business. That's one we have earned. But let's just hear from you, in your own words. Let's just hear some sort of third-party validation. Maybe it is that you got a testimonial, or you got a reference from a job that you've done in the past. Maybe it is that it's a certain grade that you got. Maybe it is your A levels. Maybe it could be anything. Let's just see what you come up with. Okay, so click on that link, and then what you should be able to do then is pop in your answer. Okay, distinction my degree, excellent example. So I could also say, so I too, by the way, I'm also a graduate of Ulster University, but I did my master's in executive leadership there, and I can say similarly, I got a distinction in my master's, for example. Yeah, postgrad certs and degree, excellent examples. Now maybe it is a PhD. Wow, okay, right, we're going right off the tracks there. So far they've all been academic, and that's perfect. Now, as I say, maybe it could be that you were captain of a sports team. Maybe it is that you got an award leaving school for your attendance. So let's just see, let me see, Dean's List, okay, Design Project Award, Billboard Exhibition, excellent. Now we're getting some really good ideas there. Maybe it's a portfolio that you've developed. Let me see, what else have you got there? Dean's Award, excellent. Dean's List for year 2, secured a placement, wonderful. And so therefore, when you have successfully achieved that, or when you have completed that, then of course that's another example. Right, anything else there? So we've 17 participants. Let's just see what else you have to say. Student leader, brilliant. Won awards from industries, great. Let me see, what else have we got there? 8 of you so far. Just want to give you another moment here. So again, like I say, it can be experience. Duke of Edinburgh Award, excellent. Really good. Really good. A completing an apprenticeship, super. Yeah, and you see the whole idea of completing anything. That shows tenacity, perseverance, your ability to stick with something. Then if you can up it in terms of saying, yeah, I got a distinction, or I got a reference from that placement, or that from the apprenticeship I've now been offered a job afterwards, or any of these things, that's when you can kind of up your game. So it's 1:10. Let's just see now what else we can see. I'm going to give this 2 more minutes. But all of these are really good. Really good. Let me see. And also, let me see, 100 volunteer hours, and that's going to tie into another area. Like, there's another great thing to be able to do is to quantify something. So I was telling you we're 10 years in business. We've we've delivered training in 5 countries now. Actually, that's on the lower side. It's actually more than that now. I can also tell you, for example, that we have maybe worked with 5 different types of organizations: large companies, small companies, not-for-profits, government organizations, and universities. So quantifying something as well can also be very good. So we see 10 responses in there. Could I ask each of you to make sure you have a piece of paper open beside you, and for whatever you're not putting in a Mentimeter, take this time to reflect on these. So why should we pick you as opposed to 3 other people that have been suitably picked for this job? Well, I have done 100 volunteer hours in this particular area, or I got a distinction in my degree, or I completed my apprenticeship, or I have got the Dean's list, I'm on the Dean's List, or whatever it might be like that. They're all answers to those questions. We're going to have lots more. You see, there was another one. Senior Fellow of HEA. Excellent indeed. Okay, we're up to 12 minutes past. Let's move on to the next one then. So the next one here is a tougher one, but this is going to take a little bit more time to think about, but it's super important. And this is where you specialize, right? So how do you specialize in something? So I'm going to give you 3 examples of where I specialize in an area. And all the while, hopefully what you'll do then is you will think through how you are an area specialist as well. So I'm going to pull back up Mentimeter here and I'm going to move it on to the next page, right? Okay. Oh, here we go. You're already on. You're already here. Oh, brilliant! I can see some people have added in some answers there too. So I'll tell you now, for example, an area specialist that I can, and it's important that you back this up with evidence. An area specialist that I am is when we are running our summer camps. We run our summer camps focusing on careers, communication, and confidence for teenagers and college students. So here's the area of specialism that I've given you, is that I've said number 1 is that I said I am focusing on careers, communication, and confidence, not sport, not language, not academics, not art and craft. Careers, communication, and confidence is our summer camp. The second thing is I've said we work with teenagers and college students within those summer camps. So I've said who specifically we focus on, and I said how we're different. Now, let me distinguish myself different again here, in a different way. So I'm a speaker. I speak on a range of different events on stages all around the world. My brand is The Positive Economist. But particularly what I specialize in are the financial markets, economics, and entrepreneurship. So I'm not somebody that speaks about leadership. I'm not somebody that speaks about the future of the world of work. I'm not somebody that speaks about quantum physics. I'm not somebody that speaks about the environment. I'm not somebody that speaks about what else but do I not speak about? But you get my point, is that I speak about, particularly what I focus on is financial markets, economics, and entrepreneurship. And I can back that up with countless conferences that I've spoken at right around the world on all of those topics. I can also say that I'm a lecturer, an associate lecturer at Ulster University. I can also tell you that, like I mentioned, I'm a CFA. I've also written an economics textbook twice in the South with 2 teachers and another one on the way. I can back that up with lots of evidence. So let's see now, what area specialist are you and how can you back it up with evidence? So let me see here, careers and advice. It sounds like that might have been one of the staff who popped that in there. Now, do you know what I'm going to do here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Sorry, I can see that my screen wasn't actually shared. Okay, what I'm going to do here for a moment is just for a moment here, just to be sure. I'm going to clear the board. I'm going to clear the board of what people have written in so far, and because I just want to make sure people are putting in evidence. I see at the moment people haven't been putting in evidence yet, so let me just do that right now. I'm just going to clear the board, reset. I'm going to reset that board. And now I'm going to share it again. Okay, I'm going to share it again. So I've cleared all of what people have written there so far, just to give you another chance. Make sure that you are, oh yeah, I have been sharing. Okay, make sure that what you're doing is that when you put in an area specialist, that you're giving it with evidence. Okay, that is so super important. So let's see what you have to say. So what's specialist? Now this does take a bit longer. So, okay, digital embroidery, year placement experience, great. Now, so what you've told me is my specialism in the world of digital and tech is digital embroidery, and I can back this up by year placement experience. Excellent example. Okay, let's see what else you've got. What else have we got here? Knitwear manufacturing, work with a knitwear brand through 14 months. Exactly. Now we're really getting there. Okay, now we're really doing this. This is brilliant. Let's see what else you've got. Let's see how else. Now, maybe it is that curriculum, right? Curriculum design and EdTech mentored 50+ course directors to design and reform degree programs. That's brilliant. Electronical and mechanical engineering, years of work experience in the area and degree being studied. So what I would say to you there is quantify the number of years that you would put into your work, that you would say that you've been in work experience, and also explain the degree being studied. And what I would say is within the degree being studied, I would also say how that degree is preparing you for future skills that will be needed. You said secure placement, developing new medical devices with an international company based in Galway. Okay, so what I'd be interested to know is what specialism is in there. For example, we work with medical devices firms, and you might be specializing in research. might be specializing in 3D printing. You might be specializing in, let's say, stents in the heart. So again, just being specific, it just gives you two things. One is it's easier for an employer or a customer to see that you really fit into their organization. And number two, it shows self-awareness. Quality assurance awards. Okay, you've added in some awards there. That's great. So you said research, working as a research assistant for my undergraduate placement year. And particularly in the world of research, you can be super specialist there. So was that research in, let's say, finance? Was it in the humanities? Was it in English? Was it in history? Was it in technology? Textile dyeing, you said won an award from the Society of Dyers and Colourists Ireland. Again, very, very good area specialist. Research placement, you said 4 weeks at Armagh Planetrum over a summer testing a new piece of software. So, and these are great. Now, I know you can only put in so much text in here, but what I will say is these then offer an interviewer great scope for them to elaborate further with you and to say, okay, how can we tell me a little bit more about that? Like, tell me about what it was like working as a research assistant. What new skills did you learn? What did you find difficult? I was thinking it was planetarium. I was thinking that. Now, here's another one. Career coaching. I give continuous positive student feedback, supporting and securing many graduate and placements. Isn't that brilliant? There's a very, very good example. This is someone who you would say, this is someone who could really work in my organization. I can see there, they know what they're doing. They're telling me how they're good at doing it. And they're also showing me an outcome that they can bring in terms of results. Okay, now we have, just want to point out here, we have 17 people apart from the E&C team here. Now we have more. So I just want to make sure that everybody has the link to Mentimeter. I popped it there into the chat. So for anybody who is just joining us, the link there is in the chat. Please do feel free to come on in there. So you say complete a 4-year apprenticeship in automotive manufacturing, new buses for public transport. You see, again, really excellent here in terms of telling me how you're a specialist. Okay, that's really good. Very happy with that. Okay, now the next area that we're going to move on to then, when it comes to your USP, is experience. So I'm just going to ask you for the chat here on this, because this is great. This is a really great one from the point of view of just identifying something where I don't want to give you a word count limit. So what experience do you have in terms of skills? So could you please pop into the chat a time that you showed a certain skill? I'm going to give you some examples and just pop them into the chat. A time that you can prove to me as somebody that might be interviewing you as a time that you showed a skill, right? So initiative is one. Can anybody, I'm going to keep giving you examples, put as many into the chat as you can. Initiative, I can show you that I've had initiative because I've set up 6 different businesses, right? I set up 6 different businesses. You could have initiative by saying, I applied for a placement. You could say, I am here on Future Skills Week, taking the initiative to upskill myself. So what might it be that you could say that you have around initiative? Another one, creativity. How have you shown creativity? Well, I designed my own CV. I put together a portfolio of artwork. Personally, by the way, I'll tell you what I do all the time is when it comes to me showing creativity, I create a lot of vision boards around what I want my future to look like in terms of future clients, future products, what my house will look like, what future learning experiences will look like. So just going to give you a chance there, right? There's 2 of them there. Creativity and initiative. Can you tell me how you've shown that you've experienced in either of them? And I do this with people who are much younger than you all the time. Just think about, can you give me an example of a time that you've shown initiative and shown creativity? And then I'm going to give you some other skills. We'll do the same. Let's just think through this. Shown initiative and shown creativity. Maybe in terms of, if it was creativity, have you written any, maybe it was for your English A-levels, had you to write a dissertation, those of you who have got, or an application for the awards that you mentioned there. Let's just see in the chat what you're going to tell me. Okay, an initiative, what if showing up to, exactly, Angie, precisely. Okay, creativity, think about the, exactly, particularly for the Edge Awards. And, you know, can I also say about the Edge Award, like you have to apply for at least 4, you have to attend at least 4 events. So let's just see. So Maya says, put together a cohesive CV. Excellent, Maya. The fact you even have thought about your CV from a cohesive point of view is very important. You must put together a website, a portfolio to showcase my design work. Excellent. Jessica says, creativity through our social media accounts for business. Because Jessica, it's hard to put together. It is hard to put together, you know, constantly engaging content on social media. So that's excellent. Olivia, initiative. I researched thoroughly for what degree program I wanted to study by reaching out to students studying the courses. From here, I discovered what course would best suit me and my future career prospects. Brilliant, Olivia. Can I also tell you what else that shows? That shows rigor. R-I-G-O-U-R, because I can see that you've researched thoroughly. It shows that you are also willing to, it shows that you're also critical thinking, that you're also able to look at different courses that are out there and be critical of them, but also through multiple perspectives. It shows that you have a diversity of thought, and it also shows great self-awareness. Okay, I'm going to give one more skill, and let's see what you say in the chat. And then another skill, and this is a skill that is probably one of the most in demand in today's workplace, and that is problem solving. So can you tell me about a time you solved a problem? I'm going to take a look here at John's one. I feel I proved some initiative recently by applying for a core role in a new university society, a role I haven't tried before, wanting to improve my skill set. Excellent, John. That of course is showing initiative. Absolutely it is. So in terms of problem solving, if I was to tell you, I'm going to give you like a couple of questions that you might be asked in an interview that could, where whatever you're going to write now could be the answer. Tell me about a time you overcame a challenge. Tell me about a time you solved a problem independently, or tell me about a time that you solved a problem where you had to disagree with other people in a group or in a team. In Vanessa said, initiative, I've completed a variety of EDGE Award activities such as student leader, volunteering, society leader, and Mind Your Mood ambassador. Do you know what, Vanessa? You are delivering great value for money there. We asked for 1, you gave us 4. Brilliant. So can you tell us about a time that you've solved a problem, or, as I say, initiative or creativity as well? Let's just hear what you have to say. Like I say, this is the opportunity where we can get some personalized individual reporting. Okay, let's just see what is up there. I'm just going to stop sharing there now for a moment. Okay, what else are we going to see? Okay, company vehicle broke down in England, then another vehicle in the convoy broke down, arranging repairs and new travel arrangements. Okay, super. What else might you have in there? Let me see. Dealing with a difficult customer effectively in my part-time job. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to give this, let me see, until what time we have until 13:25. I'm going to give this until 13:27. Let's see what else we have in there before we move on to the next one, which I think a lot of people are going to have a lot to say. Absolutely, Angie. You're right. You've all been studying remotely through a pandemic. This is definitely a challenge that you've all overcome. Absolutely. Absolutely, indeed, for sure. That is one that is very important. Okay, and John says, I've always struggled to depict a time. I've solved a complex problem, would love to hear some examples. Okay, so I'm going, like, I mean, geez, when it comes to problem solving, from my point of view, there are so many, like so many examples that I can give everybody from many environments. So for a start, anyway, for a start, there's no doubt about it. When you get a sense that there's a pandemic happening and that you actually can't physically go and stand on a stage, despite the fact that that's what you spend a lot of your time doing, or you can't run work experiences in person, then of course that can be a real challenge. And then we had to basically reinvigorate the entire business and the team in figuring out how we can overcome this. And also, not just that, but how do we do so in such an environment where we can lead a team and have them excited about doing that as well. So Vanessa says, problem solving. While in placement, I installed a new machine while carrying out testing. I noticed samples from the same batch with different colors and were given very different results. Logged this with my team and we opened a quality control investigation. Vanessa, you are so super employable. You are so super employable. Well done. That's really good. They're really good examples. Okay. So experience of demonstrating a skill is something that is really very, very important. Very, very important indeed. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one, which is CSR. So CSR is corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, and this is all around what type of values that you have. And this is something that a lot of employers will want to see beyond, if we know that you can do the job and if we know that you might fit in culturally, this is what we really, really, really want to see is, do you have the same values? So let me just run this with you now from Mentimeter. Let me just run this with you and let's see what you have to say about this, okay? So can I ask you all now to rank these? So what do you think? I have volunteered, or have you ever volunteered or donated to any charity? Do you have a value that you really believe in? And would you like to work in a company that has a CSR policy? So in our company, for example, we work with 6 different sustainable development goals, 6 different ones where we work really hard focusing on female literacy, where we also female financial literacy, where we also are working to offer people good working environments, where we also are working with different organizations in Ireland and beyond, where we are asking, where we're creating partnerships so that we can be the implementation partner for maybe people who don't get careers, communication, confidence, education from disadvantaged backgrounds and so on like that. Now, those of you that are saying I have at least one value that I really believe in, will you pop that into the chat? What is it? Tell us there, what is it? So 9 of you there have answered. So is it the values integrity, Olivia? Excellent, okay. The values that we have in our business is that we focus on what we can do, we practice what we preach, and we always, always, always want to make sure that every interaction with us is practical and implementable, so that every time you meet us, if it's through a book, an event, a work experience, whatever it might be, that you can take away practical insights from there. So Olivia says integrity, Colette says empowering others, Lynn says inclusivity, brilliant. Orla, helping people. I volunteered in cancer research store every weekend since 2016. Excellent, Orla. Make sure and bring that up. Doing good, Vanessa. Yeah, and therefore, Vanessa, if I were you, I would be looking for companies in interviews. I would be asking questions around like what sustainability development, SDGs, sustainable development goals is your company participating in, or your organization. Authenticity, says Abby. Excellent. That's really great, Abby. That's really, really great. Olivia says sustainability, suitable for society, the environment, and the economy. Olivia, what that's also called today is the triple bottom line, is where companies and organizations have responsibility to take care of people, planet, and profit. Okay, let's move on then to the next one. Improving healthcare outcomes for patients. Vanessa, I don't know if you've ever looked at the Johnson & Johnson Credo, but that I think is a company that would tie very much into your value system on that note. Take a look at their CREDO, their Credo. Okay, now, how can you demonstrate that you're a good communicator? Let's go back over here now to Mentimeter. Thank you to Donna for putting up. It's the Johnson & Johnson Credo there, Vanessa. I think you might be interested in that. How can you demonstrate that you're a good communicator? Now, maybe it's because you've got good presentation skills. Maybe because you've had to put together step-by-step documents for other people where you have been working in on a part-time job. Maybe it is that you've got a good result on a research document that you put together. Maybe it is, again, your Edge application, active listening, excellent example. That is in such short supply, such short supply. So let's just hear now, how can you demonstrate that you're a good, how can we hear that you're a good presenter at conferences? Okay. That is also experience, communicating with someone who's a hearing impairment, I mean. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Are you somebody that's good at giving feedback? Are you good at somebody that's good at receiving feedback? My body language depicts my confidence. Excellent. Created new operating procedures for new processes. And you know what? The processes and processes and procedures are only as good as the ability of somebody to follow them, which comes to communication. I'm authentic, brilliant, and like to get that across. Super. Taking on board feedback and learning from that. Putting yourself forward for public positions or social media account administrator, because you have to be a good communicator. And Personally, I love Twitter. I love Twitter and I love LinkedIn. They're my two social media favorites. But if I have to communicate on Twitter, which I often do, I have to do that within so many characters. And on LinkedIn, I put together video summaries of work that I do, and that has to be done within under 10 minutes. And I also have to put together a short summary using the character count as well on those posts. Floor walk with manager, with statistic of sales and departments. I have just spent this morning working with an organization here in the South where I was teaching them how to present the story behind their numbers. That's a very good example. I have to say here to the Ulster University team, I was just thinking the same as you, Donna. Really impressive examples here. Really, really impressive. You just have to think, just all you need sometimes is the space to think through them. So producing reports based on research and communicating results. Excellent. Listening more than talking. Yep. Now, can I tell you as well that, and if I could maybe just ask one of the team, if they could post the link in the chat, please. I'm emceeing the conversation about tech and sustainability on Friday. It's part of Future Skills Week, and there's with 4 different people on the panel. And there, it will be my job to ask effective questions to get the best out of those panelists. But secondly, it will also be up to me to be able to weave the conversation together and to extract insights and produce them as a summary afterwards. So that's where you'll see me demonstrating my active listening, my summarization ability, and also the ability to ask effective questions to get the best out of my panelists. So listening more than talking, that's exactly what I'll be doing then. Vlog style assignments, yes. Now I have marked those. I have marked vlog. So vlog, by the way, thank you very much, Angie. That's the link there. For anybody who might want to come along on Friday, it's going to be super. All around tech and sustainability, and I'm going to be particularly asking about employability and careers within them as well. So make sure and come along on Friday at 12 o'clock. Brilliant, Angie, thank you. So vlog style assignments are video log. It's where you have to record an assignment, record a presentation where you're presenting a piece of work or a reflection and so on like that. So that can also be something that it takes a particular talent set to do that. Replying to messages in a timely fashion, that is such an underrated one. That you are probably somebody who is going to deliver great customer service either in that role itself, or if you're in business, being able to take care of customers very well, or else in a business development role. But that's very important. That's very, very important. Conveying my message in a story format, making my audience the hero. These are really, really good. These are really good. I have to say, this is the best I've seen so far now of the what you put forward to me. Everything else has been super, but this is really, 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 really excellent. Okay. Presenting to boards, yes, and understanding that boards have a certain set of requirements and needs, and of course punctuality as well. Okay, let's move on. Let's also see what you have to bring this one. In terms of technology, let's just hear what tech tools can you use, because this is also a really employable, this is something that's in demand in the employment workspace as well. So what tech tools can you use? Love it. Let's see what tech tools can you use? So so just think about, I'm going to give you a moment to think about this, and then I'll give you some examples. I just want to hear what you have to say before I prompt them. Mentimeter, yeah. PowerPoint, polls, great. Photoshop, CAD, Excel, yeah, great. PowerPoint, Zoom, yeah. Let's keep going. Let's fill up this word cloud here with some examples. And by the way, the reason I'm asking for everyone to contribute in here is you may not have realized that you can use Canva. That's a great one for design. You may not have known or realized that all of these are tools that you can use as well. So note them down. And I am going to be tweeting these out later anyway, but all the same, note them down. Engineering drawings, Trello, it's one I use all the time. SPSS, ArcGIS, I'm not familiar with that one. SolidWorks, Tableau, yeah, Tableau for data. What else have we got over here now? We have Visio, we have Teams, yeah. Okay, can I give you some other examples? And if they apply to you, pop them in. Pop them in there. So what about the Google Suite? Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Docs. Backpacks, says Kieran. Okay, great. What about ClickUp? Have any of you ever used ClickUp? What about Twitter? What about Facebook? What about Instagram? What about Snapchat? They're all tech tools too. That actually is even a tongue twister. Let's see what else you have got to say here. What about email? You might say, oh, Susan, come on, everybody uses email. Well, So what about Microsoft Sway? That's what I was using this morning to produce an argument. Can you use the CRM, Customer Relationship Management System? Think back to your apprenticeships and to your work experiences. What else could you put in here? Memes, yeah. Can you put together a GIF and put it on? Can you put it on Twitter, for example? What else? So any of the Google Suite, can any of you use the Google Suite? I'm guessing you can. Adobe, Prezi, that's another great one. That's a really, really great one as well for different, for presenting ideas and so on like that. Let me see what else we got. You said online training, video editing software, excellent example, yeah. And can any of you use OBS? So I actually have my own show on YouTube called Fantastic Female Fridays. Oh, Storyboard, exactly. LinkedIn and Handshake. You're right. LinkedIn here is another one. LinkedIn Handshake is another one. Absolutely. Let me think about any others there now that you probably will be able to use, because oh geez, I have to say we use so many. I'm looking down here. Dropbox. What about that one? Anybody there? Does anybody use Dropbox? Anybody use Slack? Slack is our tech tool that we use in our business. That's the one that we use primarily for communication. Anybody use that? Does anybody use Lumen? Lumen? Actually, I tweeted something out this morning. I'm just going to show you this because this now could be of use to you as well. Anybody use anything in terms of artificial intelligence? Let me just show you this. WebEx, Vanessa, you're super. Yeah, you're right. Right, I'm just going to get my own. This one here. So by the way, I'm at Susan Hayes _ if anybody wants to catch up on Twitter. Let me just scroll on down here. Here we go, this one. So this is, I just retweeted this. So it is tools for startup needs. So here is testimony.al, connecting video testimonials. This one is feather icons. This one here, magicpatterns.design. Magic visuals with no effort. This one here is figma.com, the collaborative interface design tool. This one is copy.ai, 3 powered copywriting tools. See here, panelbear.com. This one all about analytics. This one, splitbee.io, your friendly all-in-one analytics and conversion tool. This one, instatus.com. And that is, let me see here, Font Flipper. Google Fonts on top of your own designs. Framer.com, design and how it works. Canny.io, build better products with customer feedback. Use Pastel. So if you follow, do you know what I'm going to do is, in real time, let me just retweet this for you again. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to retweet this in real time. So for any of you that are on it, but what I'm going to do is, for all of our hashtag Future Skills Week participants who are on the USP session right now, this one is for you. There you go. Okay, there's a list of all of those. All you need to do is go on to go Future Skills Week hashtag right this minute, and you'll get that. Okay, brilliant. Let me see what else we got there. Panopto, Vanessa, absolutely. Loads and loads and loads of you probably use Panopto. And definitely Angie's right. Please keep a record of positive feedback emails you get from managers and customers. They act as testimonials for you in the future. Angie, thank you for inspiring that message. Can I give you one top tip that I do all the time? Here is my LinkedIn, right? Let's say Angie sends me a kind message. She sends me a kind message there on email, right? What I would do then is I would go over here to Angie Johnson. There she is. Okay. Now, Angie and I are connected on LinkedIn, right? There she is. Now, if she was to send me, let's say, a kind email after this, say, thank you, Susan, for X, Y, and Z. You did a great job at X, Y, and Z, right? Then what I often do is I'll send an email back to Angie saying, Angie, thanks so much for your lovely kind words today. Would it be okay with you if you were to post that as a recommendation on my LinkedIn account? Then what I would do is I would click here, request a recommendation, and I would say Angie and I have worked together. And we see now, yeah, okay, worked with me in different groups. My position at the time is a managing director of the, okay, and I go on here, and then I simply say, I will send you a link. And if I press send, then that will go directly to Angie. So Angie, who has given us, she's just given us a great tip there. Always keep a record of any positive feedback emails you get from managers or customers. They act as testimonials for you in the future. That is a really great way to keep an account of them, is to actually ask the person who sent it to you if they're okay to copy and paste what they wrote in that lovely kind email and put it as a recommendation instead. So if you go in my case, right, if you go to my profile and you scroll on down there to my recommendations over here, Robin, I remember Robin, actually, he's the chair of he has worked with AirGrid, and he said to me, he sent me this email. He said, Susan, big thank you for helping us deliver the AirGrid customer conference in Cork this week. Your professionalism, enthusiasm and quick wit helped to keep the sessions flow with very positive energy. Well done and thanks. He sent that to me on an email, and I went back and I did exactly what I've told you. Is I sent a message to him on LinkedIn. I said, really appreciate that. Could I kindly ask if you're comfortable with giving that as a recommendation to me on LinkedIn? And he did, and you can see there it is now for everyone to see. So that is a thank you, Angie, for that message, and that's particularly a way in which you can do it very, very practically. And as Angie says, it also build up your excellent or your professional network. Okay, let's keep on going. I have 17 minutes with you, but we're going to pack every one of them with impact. Now, have you ever built something proprietary? The answer is to this, right, is that yes, you have, but it just depends on how comfortable you are in saying it. If you have written a dissertation, well, then you have written something that is entirely proprietary. Only you have done it. If you've ever built an app, if you've ever worked on a project that you worked with on your own or with a group, that is proprietary. But it is whether you are willing to call it that. So can I show you how we turned something that is totally general into something proprietary? I'm going to show you the website that we have for, I want to show you the website that we have for the podcast that we run, right? It's called Savvy Women Online. Now, on that podcast page, right, let me again, like, so what a podcast is, right? If I take one, this one, right? This one here is about cybersecurity. And I interviewed the head of Cybersecurity Ireland about cybersecurity. Now, when I say I interviewed her, I simply used Audacity. Audacity is the podcasting software that we use, right? Audacity, here it is. Audacity is the podcast software that we use. It's free, it's open source. Any of you could use it. It's very, very good quality, and there's lots of editing in there. But when you record a piece of audio and you save it as an MP3 file, for example, it's just a piece of audio. What turns it into a podcast? The answer is calling it that. That's all. So what a podcast is it's a piece of audio that you can record. We use, as I say, Audacity, and it's free. We use that, but we called it a podcast because, number one, we put a jingle both sides, right? We put a piece of audio both sides. Number two, we designed this on Canva. So we designed a logo around the podcast. And then we also put it up here on its own website where you can see all of the podcasts there based on people that I've met over the years in various different realms. So that is how we turned simply a piece of audio into a proprietary podcast. That's how. So now my question to you is, have you ever built something proprietary? So some of you might say, yes, definitely. Some of you might say, yes, I think so. Yes, but I would be nervous to call it that, or else no, I never have. So let's just see, if you have written a master's, written a dissertation, you have. If you have produced, let's say, okay, and I think this is often the reality over here, is having the confidence to call it that. So let's just see, another one of you says, yes, absolutely. So let's hear what they are. Let's pop them in the chat. What have you done? So like if you have built a portfolio for Edge, that is proprietary. So pop it into the chat. Pop it into the chat. What have you done? What have you built? Is it a podcast? Is it a website? Is it a portfolio? Is it an application? Is it a dissertation? A blog? Excellent. Excellent example, right? So similarly as well, I have the Positive Economist blog, and that absolutely is, actually this video here is actually from the time that I gave my TEDx talk in Belfast a long time ago now. And in here we have the articles are, we see publications, let's say in here, every one of these economics blog posts, all of those are indeed, all of these are indeed proprietary because I wrote them. So let's see what other examples. Portfolio, Daniel says. Okay, what else? What else have we got in here? What else have you done? Now, do you know what stands out for me here is that every one of you has said yes. Every single one of you has said yes. Sometimes there's yes, but it's still a yes. Okay. Does absolutely it counts, Vanessa? Yep, absolutely it does. Let me see. Olivia says reporting on sustainability on social media. Policy and procedures, Lynn. Excellent. Excellent. Brian designed a website years ago, built a portfolio of jobs, completed during my apprenticeship. Excellent. They're all examples. And that is what, when you bring those into a conversation with your potential employer, that is what can really show you how you're different, because they're not going to get that from anywhere else. They're simply not going to get that from anywhere else at all. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. What are your thoughts on working in, sorry, that should be what are your thoughts? Now, I don't like seeing typos there at all, so I'm not going to let that go out there. So let me just add there. What are your thoughts on working internationally? Right. So the reason I'm asking this is one of the other things that it's in big demand in today's workplace is cultural dexterity. In other words, working with people that aren't from the same culture as you. And that could mean a variety of things. It can mean men and women working together. It can mean with disability. It can have an LGBTQ element to it, a range of other different things. But what are your thoughts on working internationally? Do you want to work? So if we just take diversity from the point of view of different geographical cultures, exciting but remotely due to the pandemic. Okay, so are you okay with working in remote teams? Do you welcome working with other cultures? Do you want to travel abroad? Do you want to work in a company abroad? Do you want to work in a company where you would, let's say, travel once a week? So you work in PwC in Belfast and you have to travel over to a client once a week, every week, and you're okay with that. You said fab opportunity to meet new people. So I'm guessing that you are somebody that you want to work, with a lot of people. You say brings more unique ideas forward. Excellent. So do you welcome diversity? So you say, I don't mind traveling for a quick project, say 1 week every couple of months. Do you want to travel abroad, for example, to different conferences? Do you, if you're in research or you're in academia, do you welcome partnerships with other universities? Let's just really think here. Let's just dream. Do you know why I'm asking? Is a lot of employers actually can't find people who are willing to travel, or maybe people who are more comfortable working with people who sound like them, look like them, and are from the places they're from. So your thoughts on this, again, can really distinguish you. Can be expensive, okay. Okay, it can be expensive, perhaps. Now, if you want to build relationships abroad, I can tell you from a lot of experience. Let me tell you for sure that there is so much support out there, whether it's Intertrade Ireland or Invest Northern Ireland or Enterprise Europe Network, to help you build relationships abroad. Would like to, but would be a bit anxious, and that's completely understandable. Now, while you're filling those in, let me give you another resource then for those of you who might want to do this. Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur. Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur is a funded opportunity where you could work in a company in a different part of the world, and the European Commission will fund you for between 1 to 6 months. It's Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. So that can be for people who are entrepreneurially minded. Now, of course, you might also be intrapreneurially minded. And intrapreneurially minded means that you might be somebody who maybe that you want to, rather than set up your own business, you want to think about business development and so on, but for another company. Okay, so let's just see here. So it's Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. That's also another area that you might consider as well. So what else have we got in there? Let me see now. I'm going to go back there now to sharing the screen. Now that you have got that one. Okay, so you said, of course, of Great. Would be happy to travel, meet new people, and discover new ways and processes of working. I'm moving to intern in the Republic of Ireland next week. Now, the other one, of course, the other website that I must show you is, of course, Intertrade Ireland. Intertrade Ireland. Intertrade Ireland is an organisation facilitating cross-border trade, and again, there's great marketing internships and new paid positions that any of you could apply for as well in order to work in a company, let's say in the south, or if you're in the south today, working in the north as well. Intertrade Ireland is another organisation that might definitely be something as well that you're interested in. Can be daunting yet exciting. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Would like to travel in the future, but I'm very nervous about it. Well, you know, again, you can travel in different ways. Like I say, you can work in a company. So, for example, let's say it's PwC. All right, PwC, global mobility. That's what you need to look at. That might be where you get a job in Belfast, and then you talk to people in global mobility, and they might say to you, okay, where would you like to go? I would like to work in Canada. Okay, for how long? I'd like to work there for 2 years. Let's see what opportunities there are over there then that we might look at. So Lynn has just put up a post here. So she talks about here, Euro 22, a new dream. That's an interesting idea, Lynn. Certainly that's another one that's very much worthwhile looking at as well. So this is all about the future of mobility, and when I say the future of mobility, that means mobility within the same company. Okay, so that certainly can be another option as well. Now, I have so many more. Geez, I have so many more to tell you. Any Erasmus plus Erasmus plus travel opportunities. There you go. Erasmus plus are also some great opportunities for traveling or for studying abroad as well. There's so many, right? And I'll just pop that there into the chat too. So for those of you who do want to travel but want to do it with your career, there are a bazillion ways of doing it. There really are. So you also said diverse culture, multi-mindset across the globe. Yeah, you're right. And it's just about whether it is something that you want to, whether it's something that you want to do. It really does come down to that. Okay, so we have 6 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I've just posted up this Menti question. So if there are any questions that you have just about how to handle certain questions in an interview, any questions that you have for me about describing your value or anything else like that, please do pop them there into Mentimeter, and then I will see them and I will answer them. Or if you have any questions about me broadly, about anything that I've mentioned or anything that you might have heard me say before, please do pop them in there. As we're doing that, I'm just going to stop sharing there for a start. So I'm going to put the camera back on. And as your questions come in there, I'll make sure that I get to them in the time that we have. But I'm just going to tell you a couple of more stories while we are. Great. I'm just going to tell you a couple of more stories that are for me and about sometimes that has really made a difference to me to be able to articulate my value. Countless times as a speaker, you know, you're put on a list. And you might be put on a list to say, okay, well, who are we going to ask in order to speak at such an event? And when it comes to me being somebody that's a bit different, I always say that my USP comes from the fact that I want every interaction to be very practical, like you've seen. I always use technology, interactive tools, always. I'll always using Mentimeter, or I'm always using polls, or I'm always using some sort of elements like that. And then the other thing as well that I would distinguish with me is that I always talk from experience. I will never talk about something that I haven't done before. Instead, what I'll do is that I will focus on what various people want to, or sorry, I'll always talk about something that I've done before, so that then I can share from experience, and again, it's authentic and it's true. Right, loads of questions coming in here. So I have until 2, I'm going to do as many as I can in the next 2 minutes, because I have to give the last 2 minutes back to the Ulster University team. What's your advice for writing an amazing LinkedIn bio or summary? I'll tell you, my one key piece of advice is do what they call a 360. Ask 5 people, maybe a teacher, a parent, a sibling, a friend, and a person from a work experience that you had, to describe you in 3 words, and use those words in that in that summary, because that's how people see you. People will always see you quite a little bit differently to yourself, and that's how I have discovered how I'm different, is by listening to how other people have described me. Right. Best way to answer where do you see yourself in 5 years style questions. Right, my answer to that is, I'm going to go back to the same thing I've mentioned a while ago to you, is create a vision board of what you think your world will look like in 5 years' time. And then use that to pique your interest. The other thing you can always say is, personally, I don't know where I would like to be in 5 years' time, but I know where I'd like to be in 3 years' time or 1 year's time. That would be the way in which, is that if you don't have the kind of the 5-year answer, by the way, what I would say though is say what you actually think, rather than trying to figure out, well, what do they want me to say? Say what you actually think. And I always found it difficult to answer that question because I'm very mindful. I live very much in the present. But definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, for me, I find it easier to tell you where I'd like to be in 2 years, because in 5 years, I want so much to have happened that I can't even imagine it yet. So that's my answer. Right, question coming in. Modesty can be a common Irish trait. How best can you accurately define your values and traits? Excellent point. Excellent point. I'll tell you how. Rather than you saying, rather than me saying, right, let's put this back on me. Rather than me saying, I am the best possible speaker to speak about defining your USP at Future Skills Week than you can possibly imagine, is instead say, I am somebody that has a lot of experience of speaking about this topic because I've spent 6 years building a business focusing on careers, communication, and confidence with people who are in college. So you see what I mean is, I'm not telling you that I'm the best thing ever. I'm telling you that based on my experience, the niches that I've had, and the work that I've done in the past, that I am a good fit for this job. So that's how you do it, is substantiated with third parties rather than say it yourself. And, you know, then as you build your relationship, then you can leave the modesty at the door. Okay. Do you believe a personal quality like patience or persistence can be effective USP? A bazillion %. Yes, yes, yes again. Yes, 100%. A bazillion %. Yes, of course. Lots of people don't have patience. So yes, it definitely can be. And persistence is how things are really achieved. Like when you think about how an awful lot of things, think about the phrase, she's an overnight success in 20 years. It took 20 years of consistency and persistence. I'll tell you somebody, if you really want to think about that topic and make it your own, Brian Buffini he runs a podcast, and I read his book, I reviewed his book, I must remember to tweet it out as well. And he talks about the impact of consistency. So definitely, definitely. And the last one, how do you deal with the interview nerves? I often forget that experience. That would answer their question perfectly. Now, if I'm correct, there is a whole other session that's dedicated to that. So I'm going to say, make sure and check that out. For a much more in-depth answer than I'll be able to give you, and it's also recorded. And now the 6th question, okay, super quick. Things that annoy an interviewer, like someone giving the same generic answer. I tell you what annoys an interviewer is if you simply just talk in general things, but it's just be yourself. Be yourself. They want to get to know you. They want to get to know you. They really, really, really do. So talk about you, talk about how you're different, and talk authentically, and then that'll give them something different to listen to for sure. On that note, I am literally screeching up to the moment of 2 o'clock. It is back to you, Donna, and thanks so much indeed for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all today.
Brilliant, Susan. That was a fantastic session, and I'm sure you all would agree. I think that really does deserve a virtual round of applause for Susan there. And I totally was overwhelmed by the whole practical aspect of the session, and I have no doubt that you definitely will take away some messages here today. Fantastic, really was brilliant. I just want to share my last screen with you. Does anybody have any final questions to wrap up, to ask before we close today's session? Your fantastic feedback here. Everybody really thoroughly enjoyed the hands-on practical involvement. Everybody's clapping. Susan, thank you kindly. Just on the note of upcoming sessions, check out, Susan does have that great tech session on Friday. Please get yourselves into Handshake and book your session before close of play today. Another couple of sessions, one that's happening as we speak really, is Presenting with Impact. So if you want to enhance your confidence skills, please feel free to log in now. It starts at 2. We also have then tomorrow the design thinking, which was excellent. I attended it yesterday. Again, it's a hands-on session, great for your creativity skills and completing an end product and promoting that to an audience. And we have the graduation What's Next Careers Cafe again on Friday. And even if you're not graduating, please feel free to come along, because we do have 4 key speakers, all graduates from Ulster University, that want to share their stories and their hints and tips in terms of where they started off and where they're at today is not necessarily the same, but equally great sessions running right across the next couple of days. Please be mindful as well of our advice session. We have access to one-to-one advice and coaching sessions. You can follow us in our social media platforms, and we have our digital resources such as Handshake, your VMOC, and you can access us at ulster.ac.uk/Skills Week. That's a whistle-stop tour, and again, Susan, thank you kindly from the bottom of my heart. That was an amazing session. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the practical hands-on approach, and I have no doubt so did the students as well. A very valuable session. I definitely know that they will take away their unique selling point forward into their careers or into their placements forward. Well done. Thanks a million, Susan. Just check if there's any final.
Brilliant. Thank you so much indeed, Donna. Thank you, Angie, and I'll see you all again soon.
Problem. Brilliant.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a million.
Thanks a lot. Thanks,
right.
Donna.
All right, Susan. Thanks very much, Angie. Take care.
Thanks, Donna. Bye-bye now. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you indeed.
That's great. Okay, Angie. We just see. Just went over. Okay. That's hard. That's hard.
Was that collab there, girl?
That was collab.
You were brilliant on that there, huh?
That girl was
Well done. I need to be getting experience in that. I'm not getting
it's hard going, right?
Yeah, so that's putting you on the present. You have to do that. It's good.